Wait a minute, so you said you couldn't afford Pokemon cards when you were in middle school, but you've grown up, you've become a scalper now, and you're pricing kids out of Pokemon cards today. So aren't you just starting the cycle over again?
Um, wow, that's very good. That's well played.
As you know, demand for Pokemon cards is at an all-time high. But joining in on the fun isn't so easy. If you check any of your local retailers, the shelves are often empty. Online retailers sell out within minutes, sometimes even seconds. However, Facebook Marketplace is fully stocked at 2 to 3 times the retail price. This has created a lot of tension within the community. I want to make it clear that I do not support the act of scalping, as I find it to be unethical. In no way do I support scalpers. I found 4 people who agreed to do interviews, allowing us to briefly step into the mind of a Pokemon card scalper. So I want to know how and why you started scalping Pokemon cards.
So originally I had started shoes, so I've done sneaker reselling for about 6 years now. And like in between, there's always been times, like there was a big time when PS5s and the new Xboxes, GPUs, everything. Basically, once you get into like scalping and reselling or whatever, anything that's hot, you'll obviously try to get your hands on because you're going to make money through that way. So recently, Costco had dropped the 151 Blooming Waters, and that was really hot, and there's a lot of people that were in the sneaker community that I guess are like bulk buyers or bigger guys that have outlets for them to sell it on top of that. So we just got word of it, and they're just like, hey, like, we'll pay you X amount of dollars to go get some for us. So it just started that way, and then, I don't know, Pokemon's just been hot ever since, so we've just been following the trend.
Like sophomore year of high school, I like started selling shoes. That's where I was kind of introduced to reselling as a whole, or scalping. And from there, yeah, I kind of continued doing shoes, but I kind of left it off, in like my junior year, senior year of high school. And as of recently, like I joined back the group that I was originally in, like with most of the people. And I mean, Pokemon became like really popular recently, and the group that I was in, like they really emphasized it. Yeah, I guess it's just like really like the big thing right now. And honestly, like it's kind of easy to scalp Pokemon cards, and it's like, yeah, it's a lot easier to kind of make money from it than I'd say shoes. Yeah.
I would say that the reason why I resell Pokemon cards is plain and simply to make money. I am fairly familiar with reselling of sneakers. That's how I started initially, and more or less it kind of transitioned to trading cards within the last 2 months for me. Why? The plain and simple answer is to accumulate wealth, money. I wouldn't say there's any more reasonings than that.
Do you consider yourself a scalper?
Like, I don't consider myself a scalper, but I know it's kind of like a battle thing. A lot of people get really toxic online, and I think it's made Pokemon a little more toxic. But then, at the end of the day, I think Pokemon is a good hobby. I think one of the nicest ones I've ever seen. Like I said, I've seen a lot of hobbies from having a business. I see all types of hobbies, and Pokemon is amazing. So I mean, it's good that you're doing this for your people. But yeah, man, y'all gotta have a little more love for these scalpers, man. That we made this hobby more popular and kind of better.
You can call me a scalper. It's not that I don't like it. I just don't feel like. I don't think it's necessarily true. In a way, I mean, I would like to give an example of sneakers. Well, when I used to resell sneakers heavily, the term wasn't really scalper, it was just reseller. In the sneaker community, the people who ended up buying secondhand from myself, from a reseller, would not really be one to argue, be one to act rude over Facebook Marketplace. They would simply just pay the price, and that was it. I feel like there's a very, I would say vibe, I guess, from that word, scalper. I kind of associate it in a very negative way. I mean, I've always found it funny just being called a scalper. Like, I don't mind being called a scalper because at the end of the day, like, there's been Pokemon packs. Like, I have a bunch of packs that I've opened myself too. So it's like, it's a little bit of both. But I mean, I don't really take too much offense to be getting called a scalper because at the end of the day, I'm just trying to make money as a young kid. So I don't take too much offense to it. But yeah, I would say that I'm considered a scalper, yeah.
Do you feel morally conflicted about scalping Pokemon cards? Do you feel any guilt or regret?
Honestly, for the most part, no. I don't really feel too much guilt or anything. Sometimes, like, I've sold to people and, like, they're, like, scraping the money to like, buy something off me. And, I mean, at those times, I'm like, wow, I'm like, I don't know if this is, like, really my fault or if they should, like, reconsider if they can, like, financially afford this.
I quite honestly do not. If a person is willing to buy and they're willing to do so in a way that they leave happy, I don't think there's any problem in upcharging. If they're satisfied with what they pay for it, I don't see any reason to feel guilty.
I mean, I do see how some people get upset about people getting multiples, but not really. I mean, if you really think about it, like if you go to Walmart, to any store that you go to, they do the same thing to us. They get their products super cheap and they upmarket and sell it to us for a lot. That's how America works. A lot of businesses, a lot of stores, a lot of online stores, they get it super dirt cheap and they just mark it up for us. I've come to realize that as I have kids and every day I have to buy something. And I look around to just get the cheapest way I can. And I've come to notice a lot of stores just profit all of us. A lot of stores. I know a lot of people look at scalpers, they're like, oh, look at them, they're greedy, they sell this for a lot of money. But everybody does it to us. Every gas station, every store, any grocery store, any product that you go to, any store, they're going to try to get us like that, man. It's kind of like, we're the same as a business. We're getting things that are really in demand, and we price it at a different price. Sometimes some of us charge it for a better price than some other people. But we're the same as the stores. It's all about supply and demand. It's all about markups, if that makes sense.
Not really, to be honest. I just think, like, if I'm not going to do it, someone else is. And, like, I'm not really too worried about what other people think because, again, at the end of the day, I'm just trying to make money. And I don't know. I've never been really a guy that cared, like, what other people think because I know at the end of the day, if I'm not going to do it, there's going to be a guy to my side that will do it. So it's just it's everyone doing it, really. It doesn't matter to me.
Do you want to expand on that a little bit?
Okay, I'll compare it to shoes. Like, me being a shoe reseller primarily, okay, you're going to buy a shoe for lower, you're going to sell for higher. It's always just kind of been part of the whole, like, sneaker game, I guess. So if you, like, interpret that into Pokemon, I mean, eventually prices on stuff is going to go up anyway, so people can hold on to their product, sell it for more. Like, I feel like it's just, if there's money in a hobby or in a certain ecosystem or whatever, like, I feel like it's just always going to be there. There's always going to be someone that's willing to do it. So I don't know. I don't think it's the end of the world, to be 100% honest with you.
Do you think scalping has ruined the hobby?
I could see how, in a way, we ruined it. We've also made it better. A lot of things that scalper resellers, you know, like I said, we jump into a lot of business, different ones, hobbies, different shoes, collectibles, etc. Anything that we jump onto, we also consume it. Like I said, I've opened packs before. I've opened good packs where I get the top chase card. Like Journey Togethers, I opened it with my daughter, and I opened a good decent amount, and I got the best chase cards. And we do help out too. We also create the hype. The community just grew a lot. So in a way, I say we're good and bad. We do create a lot of demand. We do make it hard for it to get, but come on, when you get a Pokemon pack, when you get the SBC, how does it feel? Like, it feels good, you know?
I also wanted to explore the definition of scalping. A scalper, defined by the Cambridge Dictionary, is someone who buys things, such as theater tickets, at the usual prices and then sells them when they're difficult to get at much higher prices. But what does this mean in the context of Pokemon cards? For example, I have these sealed booster packs from 1999. Does that mean I'm a scalper if I sell them? That would fit into the Cambridge definition. What about Pokemon card investors who buy cases of booster boxes and sit on them for 5 years? Some people buy sealed product to hold as a long-term investment, and this is seen as more socially acceptable than scalping. So I just want to know your thoughts on that.
I was thinking about this the other day, actually, and to me, it doesn't make much sense at all. I don't see how it's, morally correct in the community for someone to buy and resell sealed product, but be morally against buying, they're okay with buying and selling open product, but be morally against selling sealed product. And so I definitely believe in a way that it is scalping. It's basically what I'm doing, but on a prolonged scale, in my opinion. If I were to get 10 booster bundles and sell them for an upcharge price, what would be the difference of me selling them at an upcharge price from me opening all 10 and pulling the chase and then grading it and then selling it at an upcharge price? It doesn't really make too much sense to me how there's such a big moral discrepancy between the two. I would consider you a reseller. And like I said before, you're just taking advantage of the low supply, the extremely low supply, and the extremely high demand. I mean, by the community's definition of scalping, yes, I would consider you a scalper. Because if you're not selling at MSRP, you're considered a scalper within the eyes of the community. But at the end of the day, I don't see the difference in someone selling a prismatic Elite Trainer box for $120 and someone selling a base set pack for a couple $1,000s. I don't see the difference, and I don't understand the moral kind of shift behind that.
I mean, I think it's the same thing. Like, you're kind of capitalizing off like demand for something. The only thing that's really different is, like, for the most part, they're buying off of like other resellers. Yeah, I don't think it's like much different, to be honest.
Do you see yourself as a business person, an opportunist, or maybe something else?
A business person. I mean, in regards to my niche, I would say so, yes. I mean, throughout the years, I've just built connections with other people, business owners through sneaker stores or other people that run online businesses, like ripping ships for Pokemon, of course. So, yeah, I would say in the space that I'm in, for sure, yeah.
I would say I do. I mean, like I said, I do see myself as a business person. I did go to college for business. I went for like a year and a half. I do have somewhat of my own business. Like, I do sell online as well. Like, every day I get hit up with Pokemon, and I meet up a lot of people. I met a lot of collectors, a lot of nice people in the community. And, I just enjoy it at this point. Like, I do enjoy collecting, but I would say it is still part of my business. I do also try to get it just for me to, like people say, scalp. And in a way, it is a business. I mean, I see a lot of people collecting sealed products from a year ago, and wait for the prices right, and then they sell it, Like right now, I have a bunch of prismatic, and I haven't even been stressed out to sell it. I'm just collecting it. I know it's a high commodity. I know people are going to be interested in it during Christmas time next year. So, yeah, I will see it as a business. I do have a lot of it. And, like, for example, the 151 booster bundles, I got my hands on a lot of them. I have a lot of them at the moment. And I don't even have all of them listed for sale. I have some of them stored where I'm just going to keep it, wait for the price to go up, and then sell it.
I feel like all businesses are opportunity-based at the end of the day. At the end of the day, I feel like I'm promoting, it's basically capitalism, taking advantage of the supply, the limited supply and the high demand. And that's how a lot of companies operate. And so as much as I want to say I'm a business person, as much as others want to say that I'm not a business person, that I'm just a scalper, I feel like at the end of the day, taking advantage of capitalism, the low supply and the high demand is how companies like Amazon, this is how companies make money, just generally speaking. I'd like to use an example of, I read the other day that Spalding and Wilson, the companies that make basketballs, their operating costs are anywhere from $20 to $25 per basketball. And they sell them on shelves for anywhere from $60 to $70 to $80. So would it be safe to say that Spalding and Wilson are taking away from the hobby of basketball in the way that resellers are taking away from the hobby of collecting cards? I don't think it's safe to say that. We're simply taking advantage of the capitalist market, making money because of it.
I contacted over 400 suspected scalpers for this video. I mostly got laughing emojis and middle fingers, but I also got verbally attacked, and one person even accused me of ruining the hobby, which is an accusation that's typically saved for scalpers. So I wanted to ask them how they felt about that. Who do you think is to blame for the current supply and demand issues that we're facing? Is it the scalpers? Is it the Pokemon Company? Is it the retailers? Or maybe a combination?
Yeah, I would say definitely a combination of all of them, especially since like I started getting back into it. I've obviously seen an increase in just like places like GameStop or Walmart or London Drugs. Like, I mean, all the prices are different for the product that they're getting in. So obviously that's not the best. But of course, like if there's people that know they can make money on it, they're also a huge problem too, because the people that actually want to buy it just to open it is like, okay, well now they're going to get upsell because everyone wants to buy it and everyone's selling out of it. But I also would say for us, well, I'm from Vancouver, but I also would say that a lot of the stores that get product here don't get a high quantity of product. Even if you want to try to get it, it's very difficult just having the quantity being so low per store.
Yeah, I'd say a combination. I feel like the Pokemon Company, I'm not sure what they're doing behind the scenes. I'm sure they're doing like the best they can to print more. But I think it's just like it's just what happens when there's like an increased demand of something. It's like people are bound to try to take advantage of it, especially if there's not enough supply. So I think it's a mix. It's a mixture of both. But yeah, it just happens. You know, people are competing since it's so limited, and people are bound to try to capitalize off of it.
A combination, I would say. You can look at Pokemon, the company, and you can say that, well, they're not printing enough supply for the true collectors out there. You could look at the retailers and say that they're releasing product in a way such that scalpers and resellers can easily acquire them. And then you could also look at the scalpers themselves and you can say, oh, they're driving the prices up and making things unaffordable for people who truly want to collect. I mean, at the end of the day, I believe that there's countless amounts of contributing factors to the current supply and demand of the market. There's not a singular entity to blame, but rather I would say it's a collective inflation of the supply and demand causing this.
It's definitely the Pokemon retailers. My local GameStop, they were supposed to have 20 prismatic super premium collections. Do you know how many they had? 4. Not just that, recent prismatic reprint for ETBs, they were supposed to have around 38. They had 25. I was one of the first people in line. The manager showed up, took 2 out of the 25, put them to the side. Told the person that was supposed to get them, I'm sorry, these were supposed to be on the side. So it's not just scalpers, it's also the people that work, managers, etc. A lot of stores that I've seen here where I'm located, they do take a lot of inventory for themselves. It's everybody. It's a high commodity. It's something that's really in demand. So,
are you part of a bigger group or group chat that provides like restock information?
The Discord groups definitely help a lot in terms of, especially within online products. They're definitely a valuable resource because they tell you exactly what to do. If something were to release, it would be at your fingertips within seconds online. And in terms of meeting up with people, I know a couple people within the area, and definitely I've seen them at a couple different stores. But definitely I wouldn't go out of my way to meet with someone over online. That kind of sounds weird. I get a weird vibe from that type of thing. But actually, I went to GameStop, and there happened to be someone there that I had shared a group with on Discord. And I don't want to say that reselling or scalping in a way instills a sense of community that takes away from the general consumer, but I mean, in a way it kind of does, because I met someone and we were talking a little bit about reselling and cards and whatnot and our profits.
Well, there's a lot of people that have, I guess, like inside information, so a lot of their groups is more like online stuff. Like if your Walmart's dropping online or Pokemon Center or whatever the deal is. But there's also a lot of my buddies that I do shoes with or other Pokemon that are in these groups as well that I do know personally. So it's kind of just like, hey, it's more of an online thing though, I guess, for Discord. It's like, hey, yo, there's going to be this drop set here. We're going to have the link for you to just have it checked out, ready to go. And then there's obviously people that do botting and stuff. So that's also a great, like, outlet.
As for in-store, like, it's really just different, like, for everybody. Like, we kind of just, like, collaborate online to get around, like, online limits. It's pretty simple, to be honest. For Pokemon Center, for example, like, you just use other addresses. You know, you can like go on your computer or your phone. You can get through on your computer and then get through on your phone. And then if you have like two different addresses, then you can just order to those addresses. Honestly, it's like everything's pretty simple. As for like in-store limits, I don't know. It's really up to the stores and how they like manage all that. I know I have some stores like near me that it's just like a free for all. They stock it and they don't really care. The main store that I go to, because I do in-store, I get information from like my friend, the boss there that like holds all the stock and everything. It's actually up to the vendor to release the stock, but he has the information on what he has, and he tells people, like, if you ask him, he'll like tell you, oh yeah, well, like, we're gonna release some stuff in the morning tomorrow. So it's kind of like, it's not really like anything like exclusive at my like in-store place, my Target. Yeah, because the whoever manages like all the stuff there, he lets people know.
So we all saw those videos earlier this year of the Costco release of Blooming Waters. I want to know, have you ever been involved in something like that? And have you ever felt danger waiting in line for Pokemon cards?
No, I've never. For the most part, wherever I line up, I see like the same people. I don't know. It's usually cool talking to everybody. I mean, I don't think they know. I sell most of my stuff. So, yeah, for the most part, it's cool just interacting with people, to be honest.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't say that I felt unsafe. I mean, the way that I operate is if someone's arguing with me or threatening me, they probably want it or need it more than I do, so I just let them do whatever they want. I'm not really one to argue, especially within store. It kind of makes me feel like, in a way, makes me feel like a loser if I'm arguing over cardboard. To some people, it may be justifiable, but I guess my moral code says that, like, I can't really go to that far lengths for this type of thing. I've never been involved in any. I avoid Costco. I avoid free-for-alls. I try to keep everything as civilized as possible because I myself want product, and of course everyone else wants product. So I believe that it's all fair game in the store it should be fair game to allow everyone to get at least something.
Not really. I mean, I feel like everyone's there for like mostly the same reasons. Obviously, there's people there that want to rip their stuff. There's people there that want to sell it, whatever. But I feel like there's so many units that the Costco's get where every person in line is bound to get at least 2 boxes. So, I mean, I've never really been targeted myself. I've seen the videos of like people fighting after whatever the deal is, but no, I've never felt like attacked or like personally like in harm or whatever.
Now, I've already explained that I'm going to keep your identity hidden because I don't want my channel to be a catalyst for any hate or violence, but in theory, if you were exposed publicly as a scalper, how would that make you feel?
I'm not sure. I don't think people like would like me as much. I mean, if they just like saw me, they identify me as a scalper, then of course they'd probably like dislike me a little bit, but they don't know like my full character. To
be 100% honest with you, I wouldn't really care that much. Like, I don't know. I've never been really a person, like, if that's just, like, what I'm labeled as a scalper, it is what it is. I mean, at the end of the day, if people need their product, they'll come buy it. Like, I don't know. I don't mean to sound like a douche, but, like, it's just plain and simple. Like, if you need it, you'll come to me. If not, I'll have other outlets to sell to other people. I know there's people that are in the hobby and do whatever, but I don't know.
Quite honestly, if you revealed my identity, I would not mind. It is, at the end of the day, it is what it is. Just taking advantage of a time where supply is low and demand is high. That's how thousands of businesses operate.
If scalping Pokemon cards was illegal, would you still do it?
I would not. Plain and simple answer is no. I'm not trying to get caught up over cardboard. Of course, the income is good, but it's not 100% necessary for me. So I believe I could live without it.
Probably not. If there was a way that I can't get caught, I mean, I'd try to find a way around that. But I mean, if it was ever like set as illegal or something, I mean, obviously I'd step away from it because I'm not trying to get into any legal like disagreements or anything like that. It's not that serious. So if it became illegal, then I'd probably step away from it for sure.
That's a good question. I'm just gonna jump to like what I still consider doing it. No, I probably wouldn't do it if it was illegal. Should it be illegal? I don't think so. Kind of going back to what I said, it just happens, you know, when there's so much demand for something. I mean, it's kind of the same with concert tickets too. They're like only so many people can go, you know, unfortunately, and yeah, that's just the reality of it. Like, not everyone is gonna have the opportunity to get it.
What percentage of your overall income comes from scalping Pokemon cards?
I'd say like 70-80%, because right now I'm a student and I have a part-time. Yeah, for the most part, like I think like scalping Pokemon cards like easily like breaks what I make from my part-time.
For this year alone, it's not been a lot because it's been since like January, I want to say. So maybe $4,000, $5,000 around that. Nothing too crazy. I mean, I don't do it at a scale as some of these guys that have bots and stuff. I know that people that have bots obviously get a higher quantity of items. But yeah, I would say around like that range for Pokemon.
I'm a full-time student. I would probably say that it's probably around like 75%. I work a part-time job, but it's not the hours are not very forgiving. I don't work very many hours a week, so I would say that this is probably 75% as of right now.
Do you collect Pokemon cards?
Yeah, so I actually had a very small collection when I was I would probably say in middle school, which is this was probably XY era. Growing up, I did not feel like Pokemon was hard to find on the shelves, but the main issue for me was just affording it. And so I couldn't really afford it. I was in middle school. I didn't feel like asking my mom to buy me cards. So I feel like it's, in a way, a gratifying feeling right now to be able to have all of this Pokemon product at my fingertips. And in addition to having all this Pokemon at my fingertips, the ability to make money from it as well, to cancel out the expenses, of course, of opening.
Wait a minute. So you said you couldn't afford Pokemon cards when you were in middle school, but you've grown up, you've become a scalper now, and you're pricing kids out of Pokemon cards today. So aren't you just starting the cycle over again?
Wow, that's very good. That's well played. Okay. At the end of the day, I guess some product sits on the shelves. I mean, when I was in middle school, I wasn't really too aware of what I was opening. I probably didn't even care.
Is there anything else you want to say? Any final message you have for the Pokemon card community?
I would just say that that not all scalpers per se are bad people. At the end of the day, it's just taking advantage. I mean, I've probably said this a million times, but it's simply taking advantage of trends, understanding that the price today may not be the price in 6 months, so may as well take advantage of things right now. In my eyes, I feel like there's a very clear and obvious disconnect between the motives of someone who's reselling and the motives of someone who is collecting. And so I don't feel like anything can really change the opinion of either.
I don't know if there's anything I'd really want to say, but I would just like to say that, like, if I've seen instances where people have been at, like they've been at places that dropped cards and like, oh, I don't know if I have enough money for this. I mean, if you're going to open Pokemon cards to try to pull, like, one of the chase cards or pull something bigger to then sell yourself to make money, I mean, in my eyes, I think it's just gambling. I think it's people that are trying to find a way to, like, block their gambling addiction. So I would just say, like, hey, if you're not financially well off, I would recommend just stepping away from that. Don't gamble. You don't want to put yourself in financial debt. But yeah, no, I mean, I like this Pokemon community. I've talked with a bunch of people and, like, lineups and stuff. Everyone's always super nice and whatever. And I mean, like myself too, like, I don't mind opening packs. I don't mind doing stuff as well. Obviously, like, I'm trying to make money off of it, but I mean, every now and then, hey, whatever, open a pack or two, see if you can get something nice. Like, it's not the end of the world.
Honestly, it doesn't take too much time to really, like, to figure out, like, what your local target, you know, like, what they have. You really just, like, ask ask people. If you don't have the time, to be honest, it's a little tough. I understand.
If you would like a part 2 where I interview even more scalpers, leave a comment with some questions you would like me to ask them. If this video gets 10,000 likes, I'll make a part 2 and I'll ask your questions. And as a final message from me, scalpers suck. But if we want scalpers to leave the hobby, we have to stop buying from them.